Bongga. Para masaya. All right, without further ado, let me introduce to you our speaker or our author for this afternoon. Mr. Mike Sellis is actually an ICF or an International Coach Federation certified global master coach in life coaching, neuro linguistic programming, and timeline therapy from the Life Coach Training Institute of USA and Coachology in Thailand, and the international best-selling author of the hashtag Best Me Ever book series with 5 inspirational titles under his name. All right. He also helps people overcome limiting beliefs, gain clarity as they discover their own unicorn within, and achieve their greatest dreams as they journey towards their best. At present, he is the personal coach to a number of celebrities, top executives, and successful people worldwide, serving an in-demand resource person and subject matter expert across print, radio, TV, and digital media while managing an online community for self-empowerment. Aside from this, Mike is also a radio talk show host of DZME 1530 AM, a subject matter expert columnist for coaching in marketing in Asia.com, and an international TEDx speaker with 30 local and international stints and a serial entrepreneur with 4 thriving businesses that includes an ad agency, a professional coaching company, a Chinese restaurant, and a gourmet bakery. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Coach Mike Sellis. Hi, Coach Mike. Good afternoon.
Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here. And I am excited really to share this afternoon with you guys. And hopefully you can discover your own hashtag best me ever in the process.
All right. So, how are you doing, Mike?
Quite well, quite well. From surviving, I'm now thriving in the new normal. And hopefully I can help others do the same as well after this talk.
Yeah, and for the first time in history in this generation that we are experiencing a COVID-19
Mm-hmm.
pandemic, and right here we're doing an event where we're doing online. So it's kind of nakakapanibago, but of course,
I
we
know.
have to
We just have to
go
adapt,
on.
diba? That's the way to go
Yes,
naman.
exactly.
For our readers, viewers, and listeners, the only way to go is to actually, open yourself up to possibilities and come from a space of, love and belief in yourself because that's the only way you can thrive thereafter. Yeah.
Right. And this is one possibility para lahat ng alignments in the universe could actually, be together as one. And
Exactly.
first, we would like to thank National Bookstore for this opportunity that we're having right now. And also to our viewers who are watching on
Mm.
Facebook and Shopee, if you would like to discuss or if you would like to participate in our discussion, please do
Mm-hmm.
not hesitate to submit your questions for Mike Celis to qualify for the raffle. Bongga may raffle. And
Yes.
we'll get a
Let's
chance.
also thank our my publisher rather Life Books for choosing me to be in this festival. Thank you so much and National Bookstore for the support. Super overwhelming to be part of your best-selling authors. And I am
Correct.
humbled and honored.
And just to mention, hashtag best me ever on positivity and possibilities, and hashtag best me ever on moving on and forward, and 100 life lessons for success. Everything we will be talking about later on after your talk. So let's hear about you. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So without further ado, allow me. Okay. Okay. So, hi everyone, and good afternoon. And this afternoon, I would like you guys to take this moment to just focus on your screens right now because this talk can change your life, hopefully for the better, as you discover your own hashtag best me ever. Welcome to the new normal. How is it really for you guys? What is the new normal for you? In my case, It's all about virtual coaching. It's all about giving virtual talks. It's all about doing virtual workshops. It's all about things like this, the one that you're watching right now. But for the rest of the world, guys, how is it really? Allow me to give you a glimpse of what the new normal looks like for others. Looks familiar. This used to be a very busy street in Makati. I can definitely imagine myself crossing alongside other people, elbow to elbow, almost pushing each other in the process, okay? And that was before the pandemic happened. But right now, during the peak hours, this is how it looks like. This is how work looks like nowadays. So if you're not working at home and you were sent to the office, this is how you actually face your laptop for 8 hours. And that behind you is your office mate. This is all about homeschooling. So while works at home, she also teaches on the side her kids, unmindful of the fact that the facilitator may be online then as well. So it's double the work and double the time that you spend with your kids in the process. This is how malling looks like. Okay. So not so many people, all wearing masks. You would have guards telling you to wear your face shields, reminding you to have your temperature checks, among others. And this is the site of the ever famous Manila Bay now. Okay, so before you react, that's not me in the picture. Okay, I did not go there. Okay, but this is how a tourist can be during the new normal. While others are visiting tourist spots, this is how partying happens in the new normal. Ever heard of Inuman? Welcome to the party in 2020. And when there's partying, there's also stories about love. This is how getting married in the new normal happens. Quite interesting. And if you have your dating app, if you're single right now and you have your dating app, you will see a lot of people wearing masks there. So it defeats the purpose of, falling for someone physically. But that's the case. Amidst all these, we tend to ask ourselves, what will happen next? No, no one ever predicted this pandemic to happen, right? And no one expected it to last this long. But in the process of adjusting too much, of wanting to be in control once more, we lose ourselves. And that is something that we should be worried about. These are some emotions that you feel during the new normal. You become anxious about what tomorrow would be, if you would still have work, would you still have food on the table? You feel sad because of the plans that got canceled, sad because you no longer get to go on a date with your crush. You're afraid that you might get sick, afraid that your business might close. You feel anger. You are mad because you had a pay cut. You are mad because a loved one died. You're also confused. Confused because you don't know what to do next. You don't know what to expect. And then you have regrets. Regrets that looking back earlier on this year, what were the things that you have wanted to do but didn't do it? And lastly, guilt. It's all about what you could have done differently. But right now, in our space, in the four corners of our home, this is where we are. a different version of ourselves altogether. Because before, during the pandemic, we used to define ourselves by what we do, by how much we have, by our work, our profession, our passion, what we're good at. But the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic is the great equalizer and made us realize that we are actually more than what we perceived ourselves to be. And that only happened when it took away the biggest gift that we took for granted for the longest time, our freedom. A lot of us right now are feeling trapped in our homes. We tend to forget, though, that that space, the four corners of our home right now, is actually a safe space. It's a matter of how we can choose to maximize it in the process. It's not a question of what would happen next. It's a question of what choices are we ready to make in order for us to survive and hopefully finally thrive in the new normal. The biggest problem with people is that we tend to bring our old selves to the new normal. We fight so hard every single day trying to explain to ourselves that this is how we used to do things. This is how things are meant to be. But that's not the case right now. Right now, what matters is what is that life changing choice that you have to make so that you can become the next you. In my words, your very own hashtag best me ever. Allow me to help you this afternoon to reflect because this is how coaching is. It's not about giving advice, it's not about just giving tips. It's all about empowering you, each one of you, as you are listening to me right now, to come from within and reflect and know the answers to each of these 7 questions that can actually change your life and allow you to become your best, to be your unapologetic, authentic, and grandest version of yourself. First things first is to ask yourself, how am I now? Overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, anger, we tend to forget the most important person inside the room, yourself. You've been working too hard, you've been trying too hard to fight, you've been trying too hard to make things work. But how much have you tried to actually step back and ask yourself, how am I feeling? What are the emotions within? Remember, the only way you can address whatever it is that you're feeling right now is by acknowledging them. Denying any of your emotions wouldn't do you any good. Acknowledging them and taking them from a space of openness, from a space of acceptance, is the first way that will allow you to thrive thereafter. The COVID 19 pandemic, even though it caused the deaths of many people, of businesses, of dreams in general, it also paved way to giving birth to wonderful opportunities to start all over again. So now is the best time, starting from scratch, to ask yourself, what is it that you really want? If you were given a chance to relive your life over again, what would you rather do? Would you rather be a singer? Would you rather be a host? Would you rather be a best-selling author? Whatever it is, go for it. Because right now, more than ever, the COVID-19 pandemic is the great equalizer. And that means you have equal opportunities, much like everyone else. So don't be afraid to start all over again and come from honesty, humility, and vulnerability to embrace whatever it is that makes your heart skip a beat. This one is very important. Instead of looking back at the past with so much regrets, with focusing about what could have been, why not focus on what can I do now? What do I have in my current space that I can work with? Make an inventory of your skills, of your resources. Remember, the mere fact that you're watching me right now at the comforts of your own home, perhaps, that's a whole lot of blessing to be thankful for. Imagine, you still, you may have lost your job, but you never lost the talent. You never lost your skill. Hold on to that. You may have lost a relationship, but you still have yourself. And maybe, just maybe, it's time for you to focus on loving yourself first so that you could find someone else who deserves you in the process. It's all about living in the moment, coming from openness and doing away with resentment. Because by living in the now, you can focus on what you can still be long after the pandemic is over. After making an inventory of your skills and resources, come from this space and ask yourself, how can I move on and forward from this experience? Strategize, honey. What do you need to do? What are the specific action plans that you have in mind? If you want to start with your baking business, what do you have to do? What would you serve? Who would be your market? How much are you going to sell it? It's all about starting from scratch, but coming from a space that you are going to be optimistic that things would go well eventually. At the end of the day, you have nothing else to lose. It's all about focusing on your purpose more than your fears, whatever they may be. The beautiful thing about this COVID 19 pandemic is that worldwide, people are reminding you that you are supported and loved. You are not journeying alone. This is so beautiful. So ask yourself this: what kind of support do you need, and who can support you in your journey? If you're planning to jumpstart your hosting career, who should you ask for help? What platform should you use? What lessons should you take? One post on Facebook or whatever social media platform you may have, and you would get the answers from angels out there. You just have to be very clear with your intentions and allow the universe to listen and embrace the person that you chose to be. This one is key. How can you commit 100% to your new journey? Becoming the next you takes a whole lot of commitment because it's never about when it doesn't work, you revert back to your old self. But that's not the case. The old self becomes irrelevant. The next you, whatever you choose to be, is the one that is meant to live in the now. The bigger question is, what do you need to let go of from your past? May it be people, habits, situations, experiences, negative associations that will allow you to live freely at present, and that would allow you to focus on what really matters. And that is all about growing and flourishing in your current space. And lastly, it's all about taking action. Planning is one thing, doing something about it is another. The moment that you finish listening to this talk, what is it that you can actually do to change your life for the better? What is it that you need? Who should you approach? What is that simple thing that would actually change your life at an instant? It's all about taking those little steps towards becoming the person that you're meant to be. Your very own hashtag, best me ever. So at this point in time, I'd like to ask every one of you guys listening right now to take this moment to step back and recognize the space you're in. Are you having a hard time at work? Are you facing problems right now? Are you worried, anxious, sad, depressed, afraid? Whatever your space right now, know that there's a purpose that you're listening to me. Because here and now, realize that whatever space you're in, whatever you've been through, whatever you're going through, and whatever still awaits you, know that it's okay. You're not alone in your journey. You just have to make that life changing choice to become the next you. And on that note, simply because you're on your way to become your own hashtag best me ever. My name is Coach Mike Celis, and thank you for having me this afternoon. And if you want to become your own hashtag best me ever, you may visit my website. It's written there. And of course, please do get copies of my books in National Bookstore. And thank you to all those who got their copies already. I am truly grateful for seeing them being posted on your social media accounts. And lastly, if you want good vibes and positivity every single day of your life, join my online community on Facebook. Thank you very much for having me this afternoon.
All right, thank you so much, Coach Marcelis. That was a wonderful talk you just had. You know, one thing that's golden, one favorite thing that you actually said was
Mm.
that COVID-19 is an actual great equalizer. Oo nga naman, diba?
Mm.
Because these things had happened para lang mabalance yung everything, lahat ng mga uncertainties, lahat ng mga misfortunes
Yes.
in life. No one is exempted. Like, mahirap, mayaman, konyo,
True.
hindi konyo, di ba? Lahat tayo na biktima nitong COVID-19 and we are learning a lot from this. My first question goes like this.
Mm.
Do you actually have a personal realization during your first few weeks experiencing COVID-19? Tell me about it.
Okay. Contrary to popular belief, I was very much like everyone else, dear. Natakot din po ako. Simply because in one of my talks, I actually mentioned this. I lost almost 800,000 pesos worth of speaking engagements of
Why?
and also business losses. I lost 5 media guestings, 2 international talks, and 5 prospective coaches dahil natakot sila. So
That's a lot.
imagine, aha. So imagine the panic I had. But at the end of the day, I always teach my coaches kasi and everyone listening to me that I pride myself of being authentic, meaning I always do my best to walk the talk. So if
Right.
I am telling people to hang on, to do their best to start all over again, I needed to apply it to myself. And it took me 15 days to realize that
And
I
you
could
counted it,
actually
huh?
15 days of internalizing, of taking a step back, of recognizing that I was afraid, but I also recognized the fact that my fear would prevent me from living my purpose, of which was inspiring people to become their own hashtag best me ever. And so I came from that space. And the biggest realization I had really was that um, it's not about the pandemic. It's
Mhm.
about the everyday choices that we make that would ensure whether or not we thrive in this new normal.
Wow, let me go into that thing
Mm-hmm.
that you said about thriving. Do you
Mm-hmm.
actually have a first-hand experience? Kasi you mentioned like you counted those 15 days na
Yeah.
you were really thinking about things and maybe you
Mm-hmm.
also had your anxiety, some sort of. No one's perfect, di ba? Maybe
Yeah.
you felt deprivation and all. So, can you give a certain scenario wherein even if you are a present life coach, na down ka?
Hmm. Okay, I think that would be on the first few days. Again, because dumating lahat eh. Nag-close yung business, na-hold
Right.
yung coaching engagements, na-cancel yung talk, na-cancel yung vacation namin ng family kasi mag-Holy Week
Sunod-sunod,
yun, di
no?
ba? So, sunod, parang kumbaga, Lord, jackpot na po ako, kota na, ano pa, di ba? But the good thing is that, and I'm not shy to admit this, I actually cried because I had to. I had to release it. I had to acknowledge that something was not right. But what I did though was come from a space that I had to stop myself and come from a space that, okay, what do I need to do differently? I coach myself.
Oh,
I coach
wow.
myself. What do I need to do differently? What is it teaching me? What is the situation teaching me? How can I grow from it? What could be inspiring about this situation that looking back years from now, people would be inspired by my journey? And that changed the way I look at things. And it was all about wanting to start all over again from scratch. Yun yung una kong tinanggal kasi parang ang point ko, if things aren't working out, I did a lot of things that actually were outside of my comfort zone.
Right.
uh I migrated all my practice virtually. Apart
Mm,
from that, I focused on studying again. It was more of finding whatever could work for
is
me at this
there.
particular point in time, not focusing on what I lost, but rather focusing on what I can still gain. Because I know that
Right.
it would not last long. That someday, somehow, we would all rise again and that the pandemic would be over. And that's something I look
Right.
forward to.
We are all wishing for that this pandemic would be over and things could go to a better normal, ika nga. My
Of
next question
course.
would be, do you have your could have done's para
Ah,
makaiwas sana dun sa mga hindi mo na sana dapat tinahak noon?
alam nyo, and I'm going to be very candid about it, okay? The Lord and the universe has been very kind to me, and close people have known this because since last year, for those of you who just saw me right now, I've been
Mhm.
thinking of going full time with my coaching practice, of which I've been doing technically for 3 years and
Right.
counting. Okay, but it was early this year that I decided to, number one, make my ad agency virtual. So meaning
Mm,
I just outsource people. Number
right.
two, I sold my retail business that has a kiosk in SM Mega Mall
That was
January. January. So imagine if I didn't sell that, there would be problems. Number
yeah.
three, I was already coaching virtually for my foreign clients since last year. So
Mm,
migrating was easier for me. So
yeah.
all those things, my what could have been, I mean, if had known that there would be a pandemic, then I would have, booked my
Prepared more,
vacations
di ba?
earlier. But on
Correct.
that note, everything that I needed to do was actually planned in advance. And I can say that if those things didn't happen, if I didn't make those choices of letting go before the pandemic happened, it would have changed everything the way I am dealing with things right now.
Right. And good job to you because it looks like you're really doing well with whatever you're having right now.
I'm very much grateful for the support and love of all the people who continuously inspire me. They don't know, they tell me that my books inspire them, but I tell them they inspire me with all their postings, with all the random messages that I get from these people showing me how my books changed them.
Yeah, and speaking of books, once again, we would like to invite everybody. If you would like to, send in your questions, keep it coming in, and I will be reading them. Actually, there are already questions here on my phone. And also, if you would like to check his books, hashtag Best Me Ever on Positivity and Possibilities, hashtag Best Me Ever on Moving On and Forward, and 100 Life Lessons for Success. He will explain that later on. But I have a question for you, Coach Mike. Here we go from James Pagawaran. He says, how can I tell someone, a friend or relative, has a mental health problem because of the crisis we are experiencing right now?
Okay, that is a difficult question to answer because right now, even though if people don't have mental illnesses, because there's this thing called cabin fever, okay?
Yeah,
Wherein
yeah.
if you're stuck for the longest time inside your home, you feel sad, you feel depressed, you don't have appetite and all those stuff. It doesn't mean exactly that you're experiencing a diagnosed mental illness altogether. Best though is to just be there for the person, but come from a space of openness and not judgment. Okay, if you feel that you are not capable of doing so, always consult a professional. Have a psychologist or a psychiatrist help you on that. I am not in the position to say that because I work hand in hand with psychologists and psychiatrists with my clients.
Ayun naman pala. Oh, for those who just tuned in, we are on Mike Celis Talk for the next two, your hashtag Best Me Ever in the new normal. We are
Mhm.
talking about everything in the new normal. So if you guys have questions, keep them coming in and we will be reading them. We have another question from Echosero Principe. Bakit Echosero?
Mm.
Echosero, what is the best way to handle the effects of a bad decision in order to live my best ever in the new normal?
Okay. Take responsibility. Take
Mm.
responsibility. It already happened eh. The thing with bad decisions is that we tend to regret it. We tend to resent it. Parang sana hindi lang. Ayoko nang harapin. Ganyan. We run away from it. But if you
Yeah.
actually come from a space that, okay, nangyari na, what can I learn from it? What did it teach me? How can I use the learning so I can actually improve the next time around? Then it becomes something that is empowering instead of crippling. Yun.
Oo, it's true, di ba? Kasi there are really some
Mm.
people that when they encounter problems or struggles in life, parang
Mm.
gusto nilang magbungkal ng lupa at magtago for 2 months.
Tama, 'di
And
ba?
they don't know how to get away with it. Sometimes they just
Oo.
they just, parang get away from murder, ganyan-ganyan. But then again, if you come to think of it, kailangan mo lang talaga siyang itawid, di ba?
Yes.
In a
Saka
way,
truth, yeah. Sige, truth be told, ma'am, sa totoo lang, wala naman talagang tinatawag na bad decision. Kasi whether good or bad, an experience that helped you learn and grow in the process would always be beneficial in the long run. Okay? It's how you look at things. Yun.
correct. At ang pagtawid sa isang problema, pwede naman maidaan yan with grace. So nasa sayo na lang yan
Yes.
struggle with a smile and with a smile in your face and a song in your heart, 'di ba? So yun lang.
Tama.
O, 'di ba? Oh, we have a next question here from Julie Velasco Patindol. Sabi niya, is it possible to have an overdose of positive vibes? Overdose of
Okay.
positive vibes? Para maganda yun. Maganda
Okay. Parang tumatawid siya sa toxic positivity na natakal ko sa aking radio program last week.
Oh, bakit
Okay.
yun nga?
Yan. Okay. Sige. Let's talk about toxic positivity. Toxic positivity happens kapag you do away with the notion that no bad thing can happen to you. Meaning, ino-overlook mo. Halimbawa, as simple as, okay lang yan. Halimbawa, may kausap ka, malungkot siya dahil nakipag-break siya sa jowa or something. Sasabihan ka, okay lang yan, may kapalit pa yan. If you invalidate the feelings of other people and you only consider the good things, then it becomes toxic in the process. Overdose meaning pag sobra-sobra na in disbelief ka talaga na halimbawa, the world is crumbling and you're still, no, okay lang yan, go, go, go. No, 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 no. It's not that. The thing with how you can actually take responsibility for yourself is by recognizing your emotions, good or bad. Yun yung mahalaga. Because the only way you can deal with negative emotions is by recognizing them. Allow yourself to feel sad. Allow yourself to feel angry, to feel hurt. Kaya common mistake ng mga nakikipag-break, yung mga jowa-jowa na yan, pag sinabi okay na after 3 days, wag ako. Di
Diba?
ba? Di ba? Wag ako. I mean,
Oo.
it really takes time. Allow yourself to feel that, but give yourself a deadline. And when you're ready, come from a different space and ask yourself, what did that situation teach you?
Yeah, and it's true, no, na sometimes it also takes a lot of guts and courage
Mm-hmm.
for you to respond properly on certain instances, 'di ba? Like for example,
Mm.
your example kanina after a breakup, 'di ba? Syempre, nandiyan yung stages na you will feel in denial, you'll be
Yeah.
angry about it, and then you'll
Uh-huh.
later on acknowledge it, and then you'll embrace it na lang, and then later on you'll eventually accepted, and that's how this trust and that's how the process goes on, and I think that doesn't happen overnight, so sometimes we also
Yes.
have to wait, di
Oo.
ba? Kaya nga patience
Um,
is key.
there's nothing wrong with being a ray of sunshine, guys, ha? So meaning, it's okay that you're naturally jolly or happy. Kasi ganun ako eh, di ba? Yung energy ko pagpasok sa room, parang ang
Positive.
saya-saya lagi. Oo, masaya
Oh,
lagi. Pero ako naman, sabi ko nga, marunong ako lumugar. And alam ni Tereto, because we've been working together as radio co-hosts for since 2 years ago pa, na parang if something's not right, I allow myself to stay in that space. And then when I'm ready, I talk about it. Ganun kasi yon. You cannot fake it, and don't you ever fake it. Simply because that is the biggest disrespect you can give to your emotions.
it's true, and to yourself as well, kasi kung lagi mong pinipeke
Mm.
yung mga bagay-bagay and then matatabunan na matatabunan lang yon. Tatambak siya, wala ka masosolve na kaso, wala ka masosolve na
Mm.
problem, di ba? Kasi
Exactly.
first and foremost, hindi mo siya ina-acknowledge na
Yes.
sometimes you're weak. Okay lang naman
It's
aminin sa
okay.
sarili mo yun.
Oh, itahi lang natin dyan ha. For those who are listening and viewing right now, okay, and for those who would watch the replay, the main point right now of the new normal is to survive first. It's okay if you just wake up the next day and not do anything. Don't force yourself if you're not ready. You go
Mm,
at your own pace and own your space when you're ready. Okay? Okay lang yun. Pagising mo, wala kang ginawa, don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel bad. Kasi hindi ka pa ready. But when
mm-mm.
you're ready, when you've set that deadline na on this day, I would try again, go for it. Again, it's all about surviving first before you aim to thrive. That's the main point.
Correct. Oo, ang ganda-ganda ng sinabi mo. Ang galing. Alam mo, totoo talaga yon na sometimes kailangan mo lang
Mm-hmm.
talagang bigyan ng sarili mo ng chance na magbago,
Exactly.
mag-isip, magnilay-nilay, di ba? Before you actually move on and forward. And then
Exactly.
eventually, you could gracefully, rise to the occasion. Dapat ganun lang ang buhay. O, di ba? You've
Yes.
mentioned kanina the 7 ways, 7 eme in life. What's that? 7
Questions.
question.
Questions.
Eme.
Pangkabilang show natin yan. Pangkabilang show yan. Okay,
Oo,
sige.
bawal pala magbalanghura dito. Charot. Okay,
Ah,
game. You've mentioned about the 7 questions. What I like here the most is how can I commit 100% to my new journey? Like for example, people
mm,
have been posting about their throwback pictures, like they want to go back
ah,
to how they were before, and then they're like
mm,
fat shaming themselves already because this is how they look like now.
ah,
But sometimes when we start to planning, you said a beautiful thing about that. That's a different thing when you start to think about it and move
yes.
for it. Diba?
Oo.
What can be your advice to those people who actually cannot start talaga ng bonggang-bongga? Paano nga ba to?
It's all about clearing your mind first because it might be the case that you're overwhelmed right now with everything that's happening to you. Ang pag thrive sa new normal is not always taking a step forward one step at a time. It's also about taking a step back first and realizing ano ba talaga ang bigger purpose mo. Why are you doing the things that you're doing right now? So from that space, that's the way you can actually commit to it. Remember, your commitment is dependent on how much you truly believe that you deserve that goal of yours, whatever your purpose may be. 'Di ba? So,
Mm.
yun dapat yun. So, kung magde-decide kayo, dapat yun talagang gustong-gusto nyo. Yun.
Correct. Kasi there are times in our lives na
Mm.
gusto mo nga talaga siya pero hindi mo alam kung saan mo huhugutin yung
Oo.
motivation to physically
Ah,
move around, di ba?
siguro basic reminder lang natin for all those who are listening and watching right now, don't be afraid to be judged by others. Honey, it's your dream. It's your life purpose. It's not theirs. So regardless of how you want to live your life, as long as you're being true to yourself, as long as you're willing to take responsibility, as long that you truly believe that you deserve it, it's okay for you to live worthy and live the life you've always wanted.
It's true. Let me just add that. Let me just put an addition on that. Ano, you've mentioned about nobody can, no, a lot of people can judge you, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pero is example when one could change their careers because of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. Okay lang yan na nawala ang isang bagay sa'yo. Aside from
Mm-hmm.
the classic line na when there's a closed door, there's an open
Uh-huh.
window for you, ganyan, ganyan. Yeah, that's already classic. We already know that. But
Uh-huh.
sometimes also, we also have to think about our importance na magre-reflect tayo na hindi na, trabaho lang yung nawala, pero yung talent and skills ko hindi naman nawala
Yes.
eh.
Let's also let's also add to that para sa mga viewers and listeners. This is an upcoming topic for me because it's something close to my heart. Now, if you choose to change careers and you're actually succeeding in the process, meaning nakakakuha ka ng kliyente, na-discover ka sa ganito, ganyan-ganyan, share it to the rest of the world. There are cases of success shaming, but those shouldn't stop you. Again, it's not about what other people think about you. It's how you perceive yourself and how you celebrate your wins. Because at the end of the day, you owe it to yourself and not to anyone else.
Correct. Nakakaloka the success shaming, no? Alam mo yung sometimes
Mm.
you just want to share something on your social media.
Oo, tas ay yabang na, ganon.
Oo, ano ka na, nagbabrag ka na ng bonggang-bongga,
Mhm.
nagbo-boast ka na, yun yung judgments ng iba. Pero actually, gusto mo lang din talaga i-attract.
Celebrate, yes.
Yeah,
And
i-celebrate kung ano
inspire.
po yung moment na yon. Kasi you consider it something successful, 'di ba? A fulfillment for yourself.
Yes.
So that's really fine, 'di ba? For as long as you have, technically you have filtered your friends, you have
It's
taken away the
okay,
stuff.
my dear, as long as you know the intentions behind it. Example,
Correct.
if your intention is very clear that you just want to inspire or you just want to celebrate, regardless if people are perceiving na nagmamayabang ka, it's okay. You know for yourself kung ano yung intention mo for sharing. So that itself is the biggest filter that you could have before posting anything.
Yeah, and you don't owe them any explanation.
Exactly.
So, yeah, wala sila.
Uh-huh.
Diba?
Yes.
Sabi nga nila, once you're being talked in over a conversation, you're definitely controversial. All time.
Come from that space.
So, controversial.
Uh,
Oh, all right. Oh, sige, eto naman. Let's go to your books, no? Where do you actually get your motivation when you started writing your first book?
from all the pains that I have experienced in life.
Wow!
oh, I've always believed that your pains, for those listening, okay, have a purpose. And the
Mhm.
pains that I have experienced while growing up from a dysfunctional family, being bullied in school, being in a physically abusive relationship, and being betrayed by a friend who left me almost bankrupt, have their purpose. And the purpose was for me to come up with 5 inspirational titles that have become bestsellers in the process.
In fairness, lahat sila halos may hashtag. Bakit may hashtag? Just a question, out of curiosity, I've never asked you this.
Yeah.
Na pumasok sa isip
Uh,
ko.
Well, napakasimple lang naman ang tanong ko dyan because during that time, it was in 2015, medyo uso-uso pa nun. Parang bago, ano ba tong hashtag na to?
Oo, naging
Ah,
bandwagon siya.
makisali lang, 'di ba? So I kind of wanted to come up with my own, 'di ba? And I figured out that whatever happened to me was not based on the timeline, was not based on the what others did to me or the situations I had, but it was based on myself and my choices and how I actually chose to journey towards my best in the process. So doon ko na discover yung hashtag best me ever na coaching platform ko rin ngayon and across all multimedia platforms, yan po ang brand ko. Ayan.
And in fairness, ha, it has opened a lot of doors for you.
Ang daming doors. Thank you, Universe. Ayan, for opening global doors all over and for allowing me to meet uh, clients from all over the world. And ito yung sinasabi ko nga, di ba? The funny thing, share natin, di ba? Tere, 2 years ago when we were talking sa show natin, it was all about Tere, I want to do a TED Talk. I want to go
Yeah,
global. I want to do this. And 2 years after, ito na po lahat. What I'm saying
correct.
is, if you have a dream, to all of you guys watching and listening right now, if you have a dream, if you hold on to it and you do everything in your power and mindful of all the things that might come your way and you truly believe in it, you would reach it. You would achieve it. And I think I am a living testimonial of that one. And Google can say the same thing.
Correct. And just the backstory of it, ha. Little did I know that he also wanted to become a TEDx speaker. And then I told him, siguro bagay ka mag TEDx. And then,
Ah,
ayun, one day, he was invited to do a talk at De La Salle. And yeah, everything is history. It only goes to show that it's really meant to be that not only to
oo,
become a
yun
life coach, but
talaga.
also to become a
And
speaker.
And I think what's important here for those listening and watching, I have always kept a gratitude journal and a wish journal. Separate yun ha. Yung gratitude journal ko is just whatever I'm thankful for at the end of the day. Pero itong pagiging thankful is not about if I got exactly what I wanted. It was more of what are the small things, what are the random things that I'm thankful about. Yun yung mahalaga isulat ko doon. The other one is yung wish journal ko. I write down specifically all the things I want to achieve as if they happened already. And looking back, I can even send screenshots that would show na parang kakasabi ko lang nito last year, kakasabi ko lang nito 2 years ago, and now it's here. And I am truly grateful and it continues on. Ganun ang journey towards your own hashtag best me ever.
Oh, 'di ba? Ganda, no? Ang ganda-ganda ng ano, ng
Mm-hmm.
dream board mo na eventually naging
Yeah.
makasaysay at talagang nagkatotoo lahat. There is a pahabol na question here.
Mm.
Sa Queenie Libidini. Tama ba yung pronunciation ko? Whatever. Oh, sorry please correct me if I'm wrong with the pronunciation of your name. Okay. Is it natural to feel resentment about the things you didn't get to enjoy because you wanted to grow up so quickly?
Can you repeat that ulit?
Is it natural to feel resentment about the things you didn't get to enjoy because you've wanted to grow up so quickly?
At times, yes. Whatever you don't get naman, di ba? Parang if you really put your heart and soul into it, you would find that parang meron kang negative associations with it.
Hmm.
Pero the thing is, what if you actually move from that space of looking at the past to looking at present? What is the implication now? Would those things still matter? Halimbawa, ako, when I do my self-introspection, there were times when I realized that I wasn't allowed by my parents to join some activities before. But does it matter up to now? No. Alam mo
Hmm.
yon, yung parang what really matters is how you own your space at present. Whatever you didn't get before, maybe it's not meant to be. But what I'm telling you is, what if now you're given a chance to do that, would you still want it? You would be surprised na parang baka naman hindi. 'Di ba? Baka naman yun na yun. Kasi may ganun din ako eh. Halimbawa, bata ka, hindi ka nakapunta dito sa
Lugar
ganitong
na yan.
lugar. Oo, tapos noon napuntahan mo na ngayong matanda ka. And then a reaction ko lang parang, ay, ito na pala yun. Alam mo
Mhm.
yon? Then it wasn't life-changing anymore. It's more of, ang sabi ko nga, with everything that you do, with everything in your life, aim to have connection instead of attachment. So meaning, connection what would you feel as if you were there, di ba? Na parang come from a space of gratefulness. Attachment is the feeling that you have na parang pag di mo nakuha, eh, wala na, di ba? So you feel sad about it. But with connection, the memory lives on. 'Di ba? Parang you create your own happiness in the process. I think that's more powerful.
Correct. Yan tayo sa mga attachments eh. Pag naririnig ng mga tao yung
Mm.
attach na yan, aray ko, ang sakit. Humuhugot na
Sinaksak
ng
ko nga yung sarili ko.
email
Okay,
lang, attach. Oh, ito
ah.
naman. From Ivan Velasco. What is the, oh, my phone. What is the benchmark to say that we are living on our hashtag best me ever?
If you feel happy, complete, and fulfilled every single day, every single way. Oh,
Ah,
ang
ganda.
akala mo ha,
Ah,
Ivan.
may hugot kang ganun ha. Uy, pero let me just add to that ha. And it doesn't define money. It
Oh, no,
doesn't
no, no,
define
no.
how much you make it for yourself. It
No.
is just your personal fulfillment on how
Yeah.
you are happy.
Oo, ganun yun. Sabi ko nga, iba-iba dapat. You define your own hashtag best me ever. Hindi yan nakaplakada na parang, ang best me ever, kailangan 7-digit ang kita mo. Ang best me ever, kailangan influential ka. Ang best me ever, dapat may bestseller ka. Hindi po ganun yun. Whatever your hashtag best me ever is, by the choices that you make, by the purpose that you actually embrace, as long as you feel happy, complete, and fulfilled, that's all that matters.
Correct. If you think happiness for you is about sharing, if you think
Aha.
happiness for you is about influencing, then you are already successful in your very own way. Bragging
Oo.
right na lang, bonus na lang kung kumita ka.
Ce- Celebrate it. I mean, you can be your own hashtag best me ever as the best mom there is. 'Di ba? And that's beautiful. No one can tell you otherwise na dapat hindi ka ganyan. It's
Mm-mm.
how you allow yourself and you own your space.
Oo, kaya don't be too hard also on yourself. Pag talagang
Aha.
minsan, you feel that everything, it's you against the world, alam mo, you
Aha.
just acknowledge it, let's respect what the universe has given to you, and later on, you will rise to the occasion. Basta you become your
Exactly.
best thing ever at the end of the day. That should be your goal.
Yes.
Diba?
Agree.
O, follow-up question lang dito. Wait, meron lang kahabol dito from a
Oh.
personal friend of mine. Kumusta naman daw ang pagiging bestseller mo? Na best-selling
Oh.
author mo sa National
Ah,
Bookstore.
it was a life-changing experience because it also opened new doors for me and it opened my mind and heart to new possibilities. For those of you who don't know yet, I was a reluctant author. Okay?
Mm,
It was never in my vision board. It was never in my goals to write a book.
talaga.
But but the universe had it otherwise. I didn't know that I had that impact until my publisher told me that I should publish my books and the quotes that I have written because it can change lives. And I'm so
Correct.
glad I listened and I'm so glad that I was given that opportunity. Being a best-selling author is not about me. It's all about the people who believed in me, who bought copies of my book, those who have listened to my talks, and whose lives have changed in the process. Thank you so much.
O, diba? You're not only a writing communicator, you're also an auditory communicator because you're on radio.
Yon.
Congratulations to you, diba? You get to influence a lot of people because of that. Oh, eto na. Oy, last na daw pala. We have to say goodbye na.
Okay, bye. Okay.
But thank you so much, Coach Mike Celis, for being with us. And of course, we would like
Thank
to
you.
invite everybody. Go ahead, Coach Mike, with the books that you have. Please invite them.
Okay. I'd like to invite everyone to get copies of my books. If you loved hashtag Best Me Ever of Positivity and Possibilities, please do get a copy of hashtag Best Me Ever of Moving On and Forward from Still National Bookstore. It's also available in Shopee, if I'm not mistaken, right? So,
Shopee,
yeah,
yeah.
But please do support National Bookstore, and I look forward to having these kinds of activities soon because, again, I wouldn't be a best-selling author if not for all of you guys. I love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm a living testimony that the book is really, really very inspiring because once a day I get to read it. I just read a page of it and then magugulat ka na lang aligned siya dun sa emotions and feelings mo. So
Mm.
abangan mo yan kasi
May kulam.
may hugot siya kasi there is
uh,
really something in that book that would really tell you na, huy, it's okay. Na,
Yes.
huy, okay lang yan. Malalampasan mo din yan. Basta basahin niyo yung libro, abangan niyo po yan. Ha? Again, it's hashtag Best Me Ever on Moving and Forward. Hashtag Best Me Ever on Positivity and Possibilities and 100 Life Lessons for Success. Thank you so much on behalf of National Bookstore
Thank
and
you.
Publisher of Life Books. Yeah, we want to thank you all for joining us today. Please shop for our books on www.nationalbookstore.com and the official National Bookstore in Shopee. Ayan. Sa Shopee po, tingnan nyo po. Again, you can get 10% off on local
Mhm.
books and up to 20% off on imported books when you shop online from September 25 up to October 4. Mahaba-haba ito. So, dadaan ng sweldo. Makakabili kayo for sure. Kaya add to cart now. There are more virtual events coming for the 2020 Philippine Readers and Writers Festival. So, check out the complete lineup visiting www.readersandwritersfestival.com or follow National Bookstore on Facebook, National Bookstore Alert, and Instagram, National Bookstore. Ayan. Maraming salamat. Thank you, Coach Mike Salis.
Thank
Paalam.
you. Bye, guys. Bye.